Last night, we told you about the administration pausing the sale of M16 rifles to Israel. Today, CNN aired a report about what kind of American bombs Israel is using to try to make the case for limiting the use of unguided bombs that Israel gets from the United States.
The question is now, why is Israel using these dumb bombs? And we really don't have a great explanation at this point.
Because there is not unlimited smart bombs, number one, and smart bombs cost a lot more. They're not always needed. John Bolton's here, former UN ambassador, assistant to the president for national security affairs in the Trump administration, national security advisor. Ambassador, good to see you. You've had to make these trips. You've had to telegraph these moves. Is the Biden administration getting ever closer to trying to handcuff Israel?
Well, I think that's exactly what they're doing. It's what they did today. The president, the White House are schizophrenic on this subject. They say at one level they support Israel, but these kinds of steps telling the Israelis to move to lower intensity operations, to wrap it up in a couple of weeks, implying that they're violating the laws of armed conflict, are all objectively pro-Hamas. Israel either has a right to defend itself up to and including eliminating Hamas, or it doesn't. And to talk about dumb bombs or white phosphorus as if people don't understand how those are used in war, and merely using white phosphorus, for example, is a war crime. This is all intended to undercut international support for Israel, which the president himself did by saying international support for Israel is falling. When the U.S. president says that, people believe it. So the word to Israel, I think, ought to be, look, if you intend to act in self-defense, as you said, to eliminate Hamas, you better speak clearly to the White House that that's what you're going to do, no matter what they say.
Look, Prime Minister Netanyahu's come out and basically told anyone, he won't say President Biden specifically, to go fly a kite, and said, you know, we're gonna do this. We're not going to kneel or bend to pressure. The pressure's mounting, though, and you can see it in the media as well. Clarissa Ward, good reporter. I used to spend some time with her overseas. She got into Gaza with an Emirati medical team and filed this for CNN. Take a listen.
8-year-old Janan was lucky enough to survive a strike on her family home that crushed her femur but spared her immediate family. She says she's not in pain.
I don't need to tell you this. War is hell. And there are civilians who die and are injured and the like. Obviously, there were 1,200 civilians who were murdered and a lot more who were injured and raped and pillaged during Hamas's attacks. I guess my question, though, is how are we to read the Biden administration's response to these? I feel like they want it both ways, and I'm wondering if they can have it both ways.
Well, I think there are there are three questions, really. One is the legal question, one is the political question, one is the moral question. Let's deal with the moral question first, because I think it's straightforward. The morally reprehensible party here is the party that puts civilians at risk, and that is Hamas. In the West, we have tried for centuries to limit combat in ways that keep the civilian population out of it. The terrorists do the exact opposite. The whole point of their terrorism is to go after innocent civilians, first after the Israelis, and then to use their own as cannon fodder. So what's morally reprehensible about these tragic stories of 8-year-old little girls is on Hamas. As far as the legal side of it goes, the administration really ought to put up or shut up. If they believe Israel has violated the law of armed conflict, say so. I haven't heard them do that, although they keep coming close to it. There are difficult questions here, and human imperfection has its role. But if they really think there's a violation of armed conflict, you know, be adult enough to say it out loud. Now, the political problem, I think, is really what's at the source of this. The Democratic Party is being ripped down the center by a disagreement, by a very profoundly pro-Palestinian wing, to the surprise of everybody that thought the Democrats were reliably pro-Israel. And I think Biden is scared to death about the political implications for him next November.
I think you make a great point. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.